Hello students, welcome to my channel. The topic that I am going to explain today is periodic properties and variation of properties in the periodic table. It covers the syllabus of first chapter of class 10th. There are some topics that you need to know beforehand to understand this topic better. So you need to know the classification of elements in the periodic table. So how the periodic table was formed on the basis of various laws. There were many laws before Mendeleev's and Moseley's law, which were discarded due to some defects in them. So you need to know the basic formation of periodic table on the basis of Mendeleev's law and Moseley's periodic law. You also need to know the features of the modern periodic table, the classification, how elements are classified, position of various elements in the periodic table, number of groups, number of periods, how are they formed, how the elements are separated, how transition elements are separated from metals, non-metals, and how various properties change in the periodic table. This has already been taught in class 9th. If you know about it, then it will be easier for you to understand the further topics. If you don't know about it, then I'll make a separate video for you to understand it better. So before periodic properties, we need to know what is modern periodic law. Modern periodic law is basically formed by Moseley's law. It states that all the physical and the chemical properties of elements are periodic functions of the atomic number. So according to Moseley's law, the elements were arranged in the periodic table in the increasing order of the atomic number. What is atomic number? It is the number of electrons in the energy shell of an atom, and it is always also equal to the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom. So basically what is modern periodic law? It states that all the physical and chemical properties are dependent upon the number of electrons in any atom. All the physical and chemical properties depend upon how electrons are arranged in various energy shells of an atom. These chemical properties and physical properties are determined by how electrons are distributed. Especially chemical properties, they depend upon the number of electrons in the valence shell of an atom. So indirectly, physical and chemical properties are dependent upon the number of electrons in an atom. These physical and chemical properties depend upon the number of electrons in the arrangement. So what is periodic properties? When elements are arranged in the increasing order of the atomic number, that is Moseley's law, then in the modern periodic table, the elements are arranged in the increasing order of the atomic number. Then when these elements are arranged in the increasing order of the atomic number, then at a regular interval, at a definite interval, the properties are repeated. So all the physical properties or these chemical properties will be repeated at a definite interval. So these properties, since they are repeated at a definite interval, hence they are known as periodic properties. This definite interval is not fixed. The properties are repeated at this definite interval for various groups, hence they are known as periodic properties. The definite interval is either 2 for first period, 8 for second period, and 18 and 32 for the subsequent periods. What is the reason of for periodicity in periods and groups? So at definite interval, that is different for various periods. So after these definite intervals of atomic number, the elements have same electronic configuration in the valence shell. For example, take lithium. So atomic number of lithium is 3, and take sodium. Atomic number of sodium is 11. So if we do the electronic configuration of lithium and sodium, so electronic configuration of lithium will be 2 and 1, and electronic configuration of sodium will be 2, 8 and 1. So we can see that the number of electrons in the valence shell is same. So they have, after a definite interval, the elements have same number of electrons in the valence shell, and since they have same number of electrons in the valence shell, they also have more or less same properties. So since it is repeated, it is also periodic. At a definite interval, it is periodic. So properties of elements depends upon the electronic configuration of various shells, especially the valence shell. Just like see, in the valence shell of lithium has 1 electron and the valence shell of sodium has 1 electron. If there is a change in electronic configuration of elements in the same period, particular property will also increase or decrease gradually. So if the electronic configuration changes, if they are in the same period, let us take second period. So when we move from left to right, we move from metallic element to non-metallic element, then noble gas. So when we move from left to right, the property changes. The metallic property decreases, non-metallic property increases. So if you are in the same period and electronic configuration changes, that particular property will either decrease or increase gradually. What are periodic properties? The properties which appear at regular intervals in periodic table are called periodic properties. So the properties that are repeated at a definite interval in a periodic table are periodic properties, and this phenomenon is known as periodicity. So the first periodic property that we are going to learn is atomic radii. So generally it will be referred as atomic size in further slides, but there's a difference between atomic radii and atomic size, which I'll explain later. Atomic size is dependent upon atomic radii, so they are like directly proportional. Atomic size is directly proportional to atomic radii. So atomic radius is the distance between the center of the nucleus to its outermost shell. Just as you in a circle, what is the radius? The radius is from the center till the circumference. That is known as the radius of the circle. Similarly, in atomic radii, the center of the nucleus, the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost shell is known as atomic radius. Its unit is angstrom. Angstrom is equal to 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So if this is outermost shell, this is atom having 2 shells, and this is the nucleus. So what is atomic radius? The distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost shell. This is atomic radius. So what is the difference between atomic size and atomic radius? Atomic size refers to the size of an atom. So basically when we are talking about atomic size, we are talking about the volume of an atom, and when we say atomic radius, it refers as the radius, that is the distance between the center and the outermost shell. Atomic size is difficult to measure because you don't have any definite boundary of any atom. Its atomic radius is more accurate. We can't say that it is very accurate measurement, but it is certainly more measurable in comparison to atomic size. Atomic size is the volume and atomic radius is distance. So this is related by the volume formula. So what are the factors which affect atomic size? So there are various factors which affect atomic size and how atomic size varies in the period or group. So the first factor is the number of shells. So when we increase the number of shells, the distance from the center till the outermost shell will increase. So the atomic size, or more accurately atomic radius, will increase. And if we decrease the number of shells, the distance will decrease. So the atomic radius will decrease. Second factor is nuclear charge. Nuclear charge means the positive charge, that is the number of protons in the nucleus. So when the nuclear charge increases, that is the number of proton in the nucleus increases, then it exerts more positive force, it exerts more nuclear force of attraction on the outermost shell of the electrons. So it attracts the electrons towards itself. So the atomic size will decrease because there will be a strong force of attraction from the nucleus. And if the number of proton will decrease, the nuclear force of attraction will decrease, resulting in increase in the atomic size. So let us, for an example, let us take these two atoms. So this is one atom with one shell, so its radius is r1 and number of shell is 1. Let us take second atom which has two number of shells, so its radius is r2. So it has two shells, so its radius is greater than r1 which has one shell. So our number of, since the number of shell in second atom is greater than the number of shell in the first atom, its radius is greater than the first atom. How atomic size changes when we move across the period from left to right. So the elements of this, if we are talking about same period, so it will have same number of shells, so atomic size should remain same because it has same number of shells. But there is another factor on which atomic there is another factor on which atomic radii depends, that is the nuclear charge. So when we move from left to right in a periodic table in the same period, then according to Moseley's law, the elements are arranged in the increasing order of the atomic number, so the atomic number will increase. And when we say atomic number will increase, that means that its number of electron will increase and its number of proton in the nucleus will also increase. The number of proton which increases also results in the increase of nuclear force of attraction, which attracts the electrons in the valence shell towards itself. It attracts the electrons in the energy shells towards itself. So the atomic size will decrease, the atomic radius will decrease, because although they are in the same period and they have same number of shells, but as we move from left to right, the number of the atomic number will increase, the number of protons will increase, the nuclear force of attraction will increase, resulting in decreased atomic radii. So the increase in nuclear charge will result in increase in nuclear force of attraction. So as the nuclear charge, that is the number of protons, will increase, there will be more nuclear force of attraction on the electrons, and therefore the atomic size will decrease. So as we move from left to right in the same period, although they have same number of shells, the atomic size will decrease because increase in the nuclear charge. So let us take example of this second period. So second period has the same number of shells, all of them have two shells. As you can see, the electronic configuration of all the elements: lithium 2,1, beryllium 2,2, boron 2,3, carbon 2,4, nitrogen 2,5, oxygen 2,6, fluorine 2,7, and neon 2,8. So all of them have two number of the number of shells for all of them is 2, but you can see as we move from left to right, the number of electron increases. So it is increasing gradually, and as the number of electron is increasing, the atomic radius is decreasing. So as we move from left to right, the number of electrons are increasing, which means the number of protons are increasing, the nuclear charge is increasing, the nuclear force of attraction will increase, and therefore the atomic radius is decreasing. Here neon is an exception. So here the exception is inert gas. So we can see that neon has larger atomic radius than the preceding elements, although the number of protons is more than its preceding elements. In this case, you can see that neon has more positive charge, neon has more nuclear charge than fluorine, oxygen and all its preceding elements, but its atomic size is greater than them. According to rule, it must be less than the preceding elements because it has more nuclear charge, but it is greater than them. So what is the reason for that? The outermost shell of inert gases, as you already know, they are known as inert gases, noble gases, because they never react with other elements. Why? Because they are already filled with the number. They follow the octet and the duet rule for helium, and their outermost shell is filled, completely filled. So what happens when it is completely filled? It results in maximum force of repulsion by the electrons which are filling the energy shells. So the nuclear pull, the force of attraction that the nucleus is exerting in them, will have no effect because the repulsion due to the electrons is maximum. So there will be no change in the atomic radius of the atom. There's one more reason, it is not in the syllabus, but it is for your better understanding, that in case of inert gases, there is the atomic size or atomic radius is expressed in terms of van der Waals radius, because they do not form covalent bonds. So it is beyond syllabus, just for your explanation, that they form van der Waals radius. So because they do not, since why will they form bond? Because the main reason for forming bond is to fill the outermost shell, to be stable, but since it is already stable, it has a maximum number of electrons, and it's, by octet rule its outermost shell is completely filled, so they do not form covalent bonds. So its radius is expressed in terms of van der Waals radius, while the other elements which are in the same period, they form covalent bonds or ionic bonds. So it is either covalent radius or ionic radii. Van der Waals radii, which is in the noble gases, is usually much larger than its actual size. It appears that it is much larger than its actual size, while covalent and metallic radii, its actual length is accurate. So van der Waals radii appear to be greater than the covalent or metallic radii. So that is the reason that noble gases have more larger atomic radii than its preceding elements. You can see by this, I have tried to explain with the help of this diagram, that this is van der Waals radii, where it is appearing much larger than in comparison to this covalent bonding, where the covalent radius is less in comparison to the van der Waals radii formed here. So that is the reason that the atomic radius of noble gases appear to be greater than the preceding elements of the same period. So what happens in the atomic size down a group? When we move down a group, the number of shells will increase. Period 1 will have 1 shell, period 2 will have 2 shells, and so on. So when the number of shell increases, the distance from the center, from the nucleus till the outermost shell will increase, and when the distance will increase, the atomic radius will increase. But as we move down a group, since there are more number of shells, therefore there will be more number of electrons will also increase, and when the number of electrons will increase, the number of proton will increase, the nuclear charge will also increase. So the other reason would be, when nuclear charge is increasing, the atomic radius should decrease. As we move down a group, the number of shells increase, therefore the atomic radii should increase. But as we move down a group, the number of electrons increase, due to which the nuclear force of attraction increases, due to which the atomic radii should decrease. Both the above statements contradict each other. Either atomic radius will increase because the number of shells are increasing, or it should decrease because the nuclear charge is increasing. Here in this case, the increase of the number of shells dominates. It is more dominant over the increase in nuclear charge, so the atomic radius will increase. Reason is because higher principal energy levels, because as you move to next period, the number of shells increases, which is larger in size. So as we move from one period to another, the energy levels are increasing, which is actually more in size than the orbitals from the lower energy levels. So that is the reason that although the nuclear charge is increasing, but in spite of that, the atomic size will increase. So here's example of period 1 for you. So you can see as we move down a group, the number of shells are increasing. Lithium has 2, sodium has 3, potassium has 4, rubidium has 5, cesium has 6. So down a group, you can see, since the number of shells are increasing, therefore their atomic size is also increasing. Next periodic property that we are going to learn is ionization potential. It is also known as ionization energy. So what is ionization potential? So when we try to remove an electron from the valence shell of an atom, so we have to make that electron unstable. We have to give that electron more energy than the energy level it is already in. So when the electron is in the outermost shell, it is already has higher energy than the electrons in the other shells of the atom. So if we give it more energy, if we give that atom more energy, the electron in the outermost shell will accept this energy, receive this energy, and become highly unstable, and it will leave the outermost shell of the atom. So that amount of energy which is required to remove this electron from the outermost shell is known as ionization potential or ionization energy. So the electron shells, or the energy levels, they are arranged in the increasing order of energy from the nucleus. So as we move from the nucleus towards the outermost shell, the energy of these electron shells increases. So the electrons in these electrons in these energy levels or shells have the energy have these fixed energy that is equal to the energy of the shell in which these electrons are. This is an atom. Let us take this atom for example. So this is the first shell. So its energy level is E1, and this is the second shell. Its energy level is E2. So as we move from the nucleus, away from the nucleus, the energy of these electron shells increases. So E2 will be, the electrons in the second shell will have higher energy than the electrons in the first shell. So as we move away from the nucleus, the energy increases. So the shell closer to the nucleus will have less energy, and the shell far from the nucleus will have high energy. When energy is given to an element, the electron in the outermost shell, which already has higher energy than all the other electrons, and when we'll give more energy to this atom, this electrons in the outermost shell becomes more excited and unstable. So due to this high energy, this electron will leave the outermost shell. So energy required to remove first electron from the outermost shell is known as first IP or first ionization potential. So let us take an atom M. When we give some energy to it, the electron from the outermost energy shell leaves the shell, and this atom becomes an ion. So energy required to remove second electron is called second IP. So now we are taking, since we have already removed one electron from the atom, it is already an ion. We are removing one more electron from it, so it will become double charged, and it will remove one more electron. We need more energy to remove the second electron than the energy required to remove the first electron. So the second IP is always greater than for the first IP. Reason: when we remove the first electron from the valence shell, earlier the atom is not charged, it doesn't have any charge in it, but when we remove the first charge, it becomes a cation, it becomes positively charged ion. So now removing electron from a positively charged ion is difficult, because it already has more positive charge, than it already has more protons than the electrons, so its positive charge or the force of attraction is greater. So when the force of attraction is greater, it will become difficult to remove an electron from that. So the nucleus attracts, the effective nuclear charge will increase, that is the number of protons will increase. So the nucleus attracts the electrons in the valence shell with more force, with increased force, because it is greater now. And so to remove the second electron, we need more energy, because it's we have to overcome that increased force of attraction that is exerted by the nucleus. So the second ionization potential is always greater than the first ionization potential. The unit of ionization potential is electron. Also it's there are other units for it as well, like kilojoule per mole. What are the factors that affect ionization potential? So like atomic radius, the factors are the same, that is atomic size and the nuclear charge. So as the atomic size increases, the outermost shell, there will be more number of shells in the atom, and the outermost shell will become far from the nucleus. And when the shell will become far from the nucleus, the electrons in the outermost shell will have more energy, will have higher energy. Secondly, the nuclear force of attraction in the outermost shell will be very less, because it has become far from the nucleus. So it will already have very high energy, and it will have very less force of attraction. So very less energy will be required for it to remove from the outermost shell. Hence the electrons in the outermost shell are loosely held. Very less amount of energy is required for it to make for that electron in the outermost shell to leave the energy shell or the energy levels. So there less energy will be required to remove the electron from the outermost shell. Therefore ionization potential will decrease, and vice versa. If the atomic size will decrease, then the nuclear force of attraction will increase. More energy will be needed to give to the electron in the valence shell in order to overcome that increased force of attraction. So if atomic size will increase, the ionization potential will decrease. Secondly, nuclear charge. If the nuclear charge increases, there will be increased force of attraction in the outermost shell. So we need in order to overcome that, we need to give more energy to the electron to leave the shell. So ionization potential will increase. Trends in ionization potential, how it varies in the group and the period. So across the period from left to right, when we in any period when we move from left to right in same period, the nuclear charge increases, the atomic number increases according to Moseley's law, therefore the nuclear charge will increase. And when the nuclear charge will increase, there will be more force of attraction, so therefore the atomic size will decrease. And when atomic size will decrease, there will be more energy will be required to remove the electron from the outermost shell, therefore the ionization potential will increase. So this is the example. See, when we are moving from left to right, we see that the ionization potential is increasing, and ionization potential is increasing because the atomic number is increasing. Atomic number increases, nuclear charge increases, and when nuclear charge increases, the atomic size decreases. The atomic size will decrease, so it will be difficult because of the increased nuclear force of attraction, it will become difficult to remove the electron from the valence shell. So we need to give more energy to the outermost, we need to give more energy to the atom for the outermost electron to, for the electrons in the outermost shell to leave the valence shell. Down a group. So down a group, then as we move from one period to another, the number of shells increases. So new shells will be increased, and since new shells are added, the atomic number will also increase. So atomic radius will increase, and when the atomic radius will increase, the nuclear force of attraction will on the valence electrons will decrease. The force of attraction that is being exerted by the nucleus will become less on the outermost shell. So very less energy will be required to remove the electron from the valence shell. But so ideally the IP should decrease, but as we move down a group, the nuclear charge also increases, and when the nuclear charge increases, the nuclear force of attraction will increase, and more energy will be required to remove the electron from the valence shell. So according to this, the ionization potential should increase. So both these statements contradict each other. So here again, the increase in number of shell dominate over the increase in nuclear charge. So since the number of shells are increasing, the valence shell becomes far from the nucleus, so the nuclear force of attraction becomes very less on the valence shell. Hence very little less energy is required to remove the electron from the valence shell. So the ionization potential decreases down a group. For example, we are taking the first group. So as you can see, when we move down a group, the ionization potential is decreasing. For lithium it is 5.4, for sodium is 5.1, for potassium 4.3, for rubidium 4.2, for cesium 3.9. So the number of shells are increasing, therefore the nuclear force of attraction will decrease on the valence shell, and very less energy will be required to remove the electron from the valence shell. So the atomic size increases and nuclear charge increases, ionization potential decreases. Helium has the highest ionization potential in the periodic table because it has the highest nuclear charge in the first period. Cesium has the lowest ionization potential because it has the highest number of shells in the first group. Ideally, francium should have the least ionization potential, but it does not follow the rules, and also francium is radioactive in nature. So cesium has the lowest ionization potential in the periodic table. Metal lose electrons easily, they have a tendency to lose electron, so very less energy is required for them to lose electron, hence they have low ionization potentials. The non-metal do not lose electron easily, so they'll have high ionization potential. So low ionization potential will be, they'll lose electron easily, so they'll be more electropositive. And high ionization potential means they'll not lose electron easily, so they'll have tendency to accept electrons, so they'll be less electropositive and more electronegative.